What's up? Welcome to the Morning Spike. This is where we talk about all things football. We're gonna give you all the fancy football outlooks. I'm Brian the Grizzly here. Well, look, it's Mark. What's up?
Hey, what's up? I was like, I guess I'm not in today.
Oh man, we're talking about today. Like, there's a lot of nuanced things going on, but because the draft is getting closer and closer, we're under 4 weeks. We're looking at 3 weeks from Thursday, draft starting. There's a lot of misinformation going around. No matter if it's Dak Prescott going to the Browns or whatever else you're gonna get a lot of information coming out. Because there's still some pretty good free agents that are available. Things that are changing the outlooks of teams, changing the outlooks of what they're going to do draft wise. The Giants don't look like they're going to be drafting a quarterback anytime soon. The Pittsburgh Steelers still don't have a. I know. I mean, I don't know what the hell if they're gonna do all this. Why they bring DeVito back?
Yes, in all actuality, I don't think Tommy DeVito's contract is like guaranteed or anything, so they could just get rid of him. But I don't think you extend the contract just to get rid of him.
Do you grab a rookie quarterback? You know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense. Then and DeVito will be on your practice squad then, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, obviously, Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, you're not going to cancel their contracts because I think they're both fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed. Well, for 1 year for Russell.
1 year for Russell, 2 year for.
Is it possible if Jameis Winston beats out Russell Wilson that it's time for Russell to just retire?
Oh, absolutely. If he gets beat out by Jameis, it's time for him to hang up the cleats. He is no longer unlimited. He's very limited.
It's fun though. I mean, to talk about that. But with that being said, I wanted to talk about the new power rankings that have been released. I'm gonna look at both PFF and NFL.com. They're very similar in their power rankings because I thought the ESPN one was booty. So we're only gonna look at those two. On the NFL.com. Let's see if you can get the top five. You don't have to be in order, but the top 5 teams. I want you to guess. Eagles 1, yes.
Okay. Chiefs.
Chiefs 2.
Bills.
Bills are 4.
Ravens.
Ravens are 3.
So I got top 4 already, and we got one more.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit.
Is 5. You got them right off the bat.
Order too. Just switch 3 and 4.
Yep. Rounding out the top 10, we got the Washington Commanders at 6. Right at the top.
6. I almost said the Commanders, but I'm like, nah, it's too early. I didn't think
you are 6 on like 3 different lists. You were 6 on 3 different lists. Like literally,
I did not.
That's where you rank.
I thought we'd be like top 10 for sure, but I thought it'd be like 9.
No,
7 maybe at the highest. But
what they're saying is they love the Laramie Tunsil deal, the Deebo Samuel deal. Even though you had to release Jonathan Allen, you brought some good guys back on defense that you should be even better this year. If Jaden Daniels doesn't have the sophomore slump, you're going to have a hell of a year.
I think it depends on what we do in the draft. If we do go like edge rusher corner, then I'll agree. But if we stay away from those positions, then I don't know if that's really good.
You ended the year at 8. So, I mean, saying Tunsil and Deebo is going to
I'm just saying, I don't know if we'll be as good as we were last year if we don't have edge rushing. If we can't get to, Jalen Hurts, or if we can't get to, these quarterbacks, they're going to just carve us up, especially with their corners not being as, granted,
it's the same as you had this past year, though, right?
It could be addition by subtraction by getting rid of St. Juiced. And then I was talking to Brayden, having the whole off season and Marshawn Lattimore coming in healthy will be a huge difference too. I don't think
exactly because he only played 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, he only played like 2 or 3 games, and then he played the postseason. But yeah, so I think him being, and then with Sinstrel probably progressing in his second year.
Yep.
Corner isn't too bad. I guess Will Harris actually is a pretty good safety.
Will Harris is a good season safety, yeah. So no, I think that you guys are good overall. You still have some players that you have to sign. But you still have some players you have to sign.
That's what I said the draft. draft will be a tall tale. If we could get like one of these edge rushers to fall to us, or get a top tier corner in the first round, and then still get the other position in the second round, like I feel like we could do this
year. Okay. All right, number 7, we have Minnesota Vikings. And 8, you have Green Bay Packers.
That's a little high.
I don't know. I think they're a little too high, but whatever. 9, you have Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course I do. I hate them. 10, we have the Los Angeles Rams. I think they should be higher. I think they should be much higher. Since 11,
I think you
have
should switch the
Bengals.
Rams and the Packers.
I think that you should switch the Rams and the Vikings. I think the Packers are fine where they are.
Oh, Rams and Vikings not bad either. But you look at, I feel like in the offseason, outside of the QB situation that they have going on, they actually
that's a huge situation. That's a huge problem.
Oh, I mean, you're not wrong.
And JJ doesn't. We don't even know what JJ is, and he, you have no experience at all. So that's why I'm like, I don't know.
I still have all the faith in the world. JJ can be good, so I'm not too worried about it.
Well,
maybe not
even being good
this year.
Yeah, but even good. What does that mean? It's going to take a year for him to figure it out.
Sam Darnold was just good. He wasn't great.
No, but Sam Darnold got the
ball.
Sam
Sam Darnold was on the team this year, he could be great because the way they upgraded the offensive line.
But Sam Darnold knows the NFL. The problem was JJ has no idea what the NFL is, and you're asking him to drop him right in and just be great. There's a reason Jane Daniels
sidelines to watch it.
Well, there's a reason why everyone got to see it those on sidelines, but there's a reason Jaden Daniels was able to step in. Him having 5 years, being an older quarterback, having the experience was always a good thing. JJ, no matter what was ranked, fourth in this draft class, there was a reason behind it. He has a lot of talent, but it's going to take time for him to figure it. It took time in Michigan to figure this stuff all out. So I just feel like to ask him to jump in and be great immediately is not the best way of doing things, especially in a division.
I told you from the beginning, JJ had before he even got hurt, I said JJ has no business starting any football games this year, which he didn't, but that's because he got hurt. But I mean, I still feel like they need to bring somebody in, whether it be Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins. I mean, those are the only two people left.
I think they're not going to bring back Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers kind of jumped the shark. Is it possible they bring in someone like Flacco?
Actually, it's not a bad idea.
I think that's a great fit.
I think Flacco could be the better fit. Yeah.
I don't want him because I think he'll be good. I don't want him.
I think that wouldn't be a bad fit. Bring in Flacco, let him start the first 7 or 8 games, and then maybe bring JJ in and see what you got.
That'd be interesting. So, but give JJ a chance to kind of eventually pull that off. But what you having Flacco there, even if you gave JJ the start and have Flacco there to be the safety blanket, if all else
and
falls
help
down.
Him like this is what you do in the NFL. This is how you get rid. Like you need. That's why I said you need somebody in there.
Yeah,
like they literally have nobody else.
I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it said 11 was the Bengals, which still have their problems with Trey Hendrickson, trying to figure that out. But if he's there, they're still going to be a solid team. 12, this team I think is a shooting star. The Denver Broncos could be great this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they challenge the Chiefs. They don't have to beat the Chiefs. They don't win the division, but they could challenge the Chiefs this year.
Well, they almost swept the Chiefs last year, going for a block field goal.
I think they can do
granted,
it.
That last game probably would have been different if they wouldn't have clinched the 1 seed.
But I do believe that. I mean, Hufanga, Greenlaw. So you brought some real good team people to the team. Adding Evan Ingram. And along with Bo Nix, another guy who's an older quarterback, right? Who's played before, who's had some games behind. Look at what's going on. So we got Jaden, we got Bo Nix, we had Joe Burrow when he came out, had more years. The older quarterbacks transitioned into the NFL a lot better than the younger ones. So I think Denver, especially if they get it, don't let them get a running back. Don't let them get a running back in this draft. Ooh, man, that's gonna be tough. 13, we got the Chargers, who are going back to the old people. Just bring everyone older they can. I mean, Mike Williams coming in, Najee Harris, who's someone on someone's trash heap, getting rid of Joey Bosa, Mekhi Becton being added to the line. That's a lot of stuff that they checked off the list, and they still have money. They brought the Khalil Mack back. To my dismay, I was ready. I had my Khalil Mack jersey ready. I was like right here. I was like, I'm gonna grab this and be ready to return.
Look,
exactly.
Oh, I'm on Chargers. Yeah, see, I had it right here. Just have all his jerseys. And you're like, look, aha.
Just never know. You never know when you don't need it. 14, they have the Houston Texans. They have fallen a lot. Losing Larry Tunsil, who's going to play left
lost
tackle?
More in free agency than the game.
Mm-hmm. Do you like the Christian Kirk?
I mean, I think it's better than what they probably had. I like that a lot. That helps solidify the defense.
Yeah, their defense will look good, right?
Defensively, I think they'll be the same, if not improved. But like I said, offensively, I mean, it depends. I feel like we did in our mock draft, all these moves are just set up for the Texans to take offensive linemen in the draft.
Yep. 100%. And one's going to fall to them. If Simmons falls to them, they're literally just going to replace him, plug and play, and he's ready to go.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, but I still think because you're doing things like that, it's still again a year from now, Texans might be back up. But this could be a slight down year for them. We'll see.
I mean, they lost.
Unless CJ Stroud just does what he did his rookie year, puts him on the back, and just takes over again.
But they lost some receiver help. I mean, Tank Dell is now not playing this season if he plays again. Losing.
You still got Nico. I think Christian Kirk helps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than I don't.
But you lost Stephon Diggs too, though. So I mean,
he went to the Patriots.
So we'll have to see.
Well, they didn't really have Stephon Diggs that much last year, so.
That's true. That is true, and that's part of the reason why he had a sophomore slump, which is what you're trying to avoid. But could it be that this third year he comes back, bounces right back, and has another year?
I feel like he has all the talent to do it.
I think you're right.
That's what I said. Unless he puts him on the back and he's just slinging the ball like he did his rookie year.
It could be. All right. Number 15, they have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I think that's a good spot for him right now, just because
you don't know who the hell they are.
Right. Exactly. If they had a solidified QB, I feel like they'd be almost top 10.
I think they'd be top 10.
That defense is ridiculous. Well, because you just don't know, I feel like that's a good spot for him.
If Aaron Rodgers is signed and they added DK Metcalf to go with George Pickens, and they get a left tackle at the draft, we're talking about all of a sudden this is a great team, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't know anything. Right now, their quarterback room is Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson.
Right. See, I agree. A lot of people gave Cameron Hayward some grief because he was voicing his displeasure of either tell us you don't want to be here or sign already. Like, why? Like, I agree, because it's like even if he holds us into the draft, it's like, what do the Steelers do in the draft? Do we go Jackson Dart with our pick because he'll probably be there? Do we not go Jackson Dart because we think what happens if they don't go Jackson Dart and then Aaron Rodgers is like, oh, I'm going to Cleveland or I'm retiring. Yeah. And now you're like, well, shit. Now we got Mason Rudolph at QB for the year.
That's when you go for Kirk Cousins. I think they should be going for Kirk Cousins anyway.
Well, I'm hoping they have something up their sleeve, behind the scenes. They've been talking to the Falcons.
But I think that's reserved for the Browns. Actually, I think
I think if there's any teams talking to the Falcons about getting Kirk Cousins, it's the Browns and the Falcons. Or the Browns, the Falcons. Well, obviously they're talking about Kirk Cousins because they're trying to get rid of him. I think it's the Browns and the Steelers.
It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I think that they do the best to actually make this happen. So I'm excited about those moves. I'm wondering what they're going to be. So they're just full of questions. So they're 15. And number 16, coming up 6 spots, the Chicago Bears. You know why? Because no one knows what the hell is going on. It's okay. You last year, even Vegas had us at 8 wins. Well, last year they had us at 8 wins. We only got 5. Right? Even with Ben Johnson, even with the entire new coaching staff, even with all Tooney and Jonah Jackson and all the things we brought on defense, and all the moves we made in free agency, you don't know how it's going to kind of fit together. You don't know if Caleb Williams is that dude yet.
Right.
He has the talent.
Like there's potential, and I feel like the upside is really high with you guys.
No,
but again,
if you told me we made it to the second round of playoffs, I would be like, yeah, I understand that.
It's one of those situations where, like, I agree. If you made it to like the division round of the playoffs, I'd be like, yeah, I can see it. But then again, if they were like, they only won 5 games again, I'd be like, I can see that too.
I was like, well, I guess it happened.
Rookie head coach, like you just never know what you're gonna get, right?
Caleb Williams is not the guy. The only way they only win 5 games is if Caleb Williams doesn't win. Is not the guy. That's what it is. What's up, Anthony?
You might need sometimes you need a year under your belt in a system,
and then another year. Like
this is a different system, though.
You don't have that time as a rookie. Unfortunately, that's why I like the guy getting the older quarterback that has experience. You have to know what you're doing. You get into a system.
I think even if he struggles a little bit, you're not giving up on him.
No, but I think we'll be start looking for the next guy. That's why
I think if Brian Johnson sees him like what he wants in practice, and he's like, okay, it's not quite there, but he knows because he had Jared Goff. What did he do with Jared Goff? You don't think he could do something similar with Caleb Williams?
You have to have something positive. You can't have an offensive line that they've redone all the talent in the receiver room. I
just want to say, by the way, that I'm the only one who even thought was a possibility. All you guys were like, "Oh, Jared Goff is gone after a year."
Who knew?
And the whole time, no, I did. I said, "But what if Jared Goff does good?"
What if doesn't count?
Yeah, but it was still true. I said, if Jared Goff does good, he's going to be their quarterback going forward. And look, what is it? Like 4 years later, still QB.
And he was young, so I mean, I can see why that happened. And
you and Martin were dead set that it was one and done, and they were going to draft Malik Willis.
And I'll tell you this. I think Jared Goff can never beat the Bears. It's not a Bear winner. The Bears have something on Jared Goff always. He does not have good games against us. I don't know what it is. So division-wise, I think that we're still going to be okay with him. He doesn't scare me.
Is that the game where he threw 5 interceptions and still won? Is that against you?
No. That was the game that we were driving down the field, and
I think that was an AFC team.
We forgot to call timeout because we forgot how that works.
Well, I know that was the last one, but I thought maybe the first time he played.
It was still a close game too. So, 17 is the Seahawks.
I feel like your division's a lot like us, where no matter how good or bad the teams are,
they're going to have close games.
They're still
the best game of the year was us against the Packers at the last game. I mean, who knew what the hell was going on? Every time while in the air, no one knew what the hell was going to happen.
How bad were the Giants last year, and they still took us tooth and nail to the end of both games? Like, it's just always what happens in our divisions.
I don't know what the hell. I think our division is going to be different. I don't think Detroit's going to be as good. I think we end up what we thought was going to happen last year. What, 12, 11, 10, 9 wins. Like,
I compare this year's Detroit Lions a little bit to 2 years ago's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, granted, Eagles made it further, but after they made it to the Super Bowl and lost to the Chiefs, they lost both their coordinators.
Mm-hmm. They took a giant step back.
Mm-hmm. A bunch of people. So I think maybe if the guy they brought up doesn't do good, then they just bring in another big name like the Eagles did with Vic Fangio. And then who knows, with the 2 drafts under their belt, 2 free agencies in 2 years, they could be good again.
No, they have amazing talent. And I think they're
so
built.
The Eagles last 2 years ago.
You're right. I think Detroit's built to beat Green Bay.
But the difference between the two is leader-wise, I think Dan Campbell's way better than Sirianni.
I still hate Sirianni. I don't care if he's a Super Bowl winning champion. I hate him.
I agree. But I've almost gotten to the conclusion that I do think he's a perfect fit for Philly.
Right, because I hate most Philadelphia fans. Random, I like Alec. That's why.
I'm just kidding.
Random question: do you think Goff would have won a Super Bowl if him and Stafford switch again, same Super Bowl year? Do you think he would have won the year that Stafford won? Mm-hmm. No.
I don't think so.
Matter of fact, I think if the Rams beat the Eagles, they possibly win the Super Bowl. Like I'll put it like 60-40, they beat the Chiefs.
I think he's talking about when the. Are you saying this?
I'm
year
talking about this year too. In addition, so like Stafford, I think Stafford's that much better of a quarterback. Period. I think Stafford. I want Stafford to win another championship because I think he's a Hall of Fame worthy quarterback. I think he has the talent. I think he's always had the arm talent. Him and Calvin Johnson should have been more. If they were coached better, that it would have been more. And I just don't. I love what Matt Stafford is. I'd rather have Matt Stafford than Eli Manning.
Oh, I'll take that. Yeah.
I'll take him over. What's his name? It's San Diego. Sorry, it was San Diego when he was playing, and then the LA Chargers now. Phil Rivers. I would take Matt Stafford over his Phil Rivers.
Yeah.
So if they're on the edge of the Hall of Fame, I want Stafford to win another one so he's not on the edge, or at least get to another one.
I feel like he might not be first ballot, but I still think he'll get him. I think you're right. If he wins a second Super Bowl, he'll probably be first.
If he gets there, how about this? If Stafford wins another one, is it possible we say that he's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Is that nuts? Aaron Rodgers is going to have every record, but it's possible that Stafford's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I think Aaron Rodgers is also, especially towards the end of his career, he's got a lot of negative stereotypes towards him, just because of he's detrimental to the team. He's doing whereas outside of the searching for a new contract this offseason, like all Matthew Stafford's ever done is what's best for the team.
Yep. I agree.
You need to restructure so we can bring more people in. Let's do it.
I like him. I've always liked him. Made me so angry that he was in Detroit.
Yeah, but he got wasted in Detroit. So imagine if he went somewhere else for his first couple of years.
He could have won a lot.
Yeah.
He could have won a lot. All right, we're going to finish up this NFL.com one.
I feel like if him and Megatron went somewhere else, like you'd be talking like.
Well, you can say the same thing about Barry Sanders too, right? If Barry Sanders went anywhere else, if he went someone that had a offensive line, there would be no running record. Like the record will be off the board. There's no one that will be able to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that NFL commercial when Barry Sanders was running the ball and he's juking everybody. And Emmitt Smith says, I got more rushing yards than him, right? If Barry Sanders was on the Cowboys, Barry Sanders would have ran for 20,000 yards.
But also, Emmitt, if he cut his career short, because that's what Detroit does to their best players.
Makes him just question, do they love football anymore? Like,
right? They're like, I'm doing all these like accolades, but like the team can never be over 500. Almost makes you. It does. It literally makes you think back and be like, "Why am I doing this to myself?" I'm getting punished.
I made enough money. This sucks so much right now. I'm not going to do this.
I can almost guarantee you, if Barry Sanders had kept playing, he would have had the rushing record.
No, but I think Barry Sanders behind a better offensive line would have made 2,000 yards every year. Like 5 years in a row, he was impossible to stop.
Especially back then when they only had one running back. They rushed the ball like 50 times a game.
Barry's amazing.
Miss those fantasy days. That was back when running backs all first round.
When running backs are running backs.
Yeah, when running backs are running backs.
All right.
And they also played until their 30s,
Man, everyone's going at 28 too, like 29.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you guys don't even run the ball half as much as you used to, and your careers are still shorter.
Because younger ones are this way. The younger running backs are always better. Get the younger with less running rushes.
Yeah, that wasn't always the case. I remember the 80s, someone would be like, I'll take Walter Payton in his 30s over anybody coming out.
But that's the same thing
I'll take Barry Sanders at 30 than a rookie coming out.
Emmitt Smith. Arizona was like, we'll just take him.
Right.
All right, real quick. So 17, Seattle. 18 San Francisco,
Seems a bit high for Seattle, but okay.
19 for the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's a little low. And 20 the Miami Dolphins.
What's the next one?
All right. But just so you know, the Falcons are out of it, the Cowboys are out of it, the Colts are out of it. You know,
makes sense.
So the same teams are all out. Now I go to PFF, who ranks it a little bit different. Their top 5, their number 1 is in our discussion of top 5, but it's not our number one team. Can you guess their number 1 team? And PFF's all about how it should have shaken out. How they graded out.
Bills, Ravens.
The Ravens number 1.
Yeah, I said Bills, and I was like, oh wait, Ravens.
Yeah. Ravens number 1. He said Lions.
I'm good.
So Ravens number 1, Philly number 2.
Philly number 2.
3 Lions. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. 4 the Buffalo Bills. That means the Chiefs are 5.
It's the same top 5, just different.
So, but the Chiefs still being number 1, they're 5.
Chiefs were number 1 last time.
Yeah, well, number 2, they were 5. Yeah. There's NFL that they're ESPN that they were number 1. And I didn't like that one. That was stupid. Number 6 is still the Commanders.
Interesting. God, expectations. I can't deal with this.
7 the Vikings. 8 the Broncos. Watch, I thought the Broncos should have been higher. 9 the Rams. 10 the Buccaneers. 11 the Packers. Fuck them. Makes more sense. 12 the Bengals. 13 the Chargers.
Buccaneers need to be higher.
Who?
Buccaneers. I feel like they were like 9, 10 in both of them.
Yeah, they were. They were like 9 or 10 in each one of them. They could be.
I feel like they did nothing but improve in free agency.
It's Chris Godwin. Is Chris Godwin going to be healthy at the beginning of the season? Will determine if they're going to be able to win it.
They got an edge rush help with Hassan Reddick.
Mike Williams is a year older.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if Chris Godwin's going to be healthy. So I think that was their biggest. They have a lot of upside with Hassan Reddick. If Hassan Reddick gets you 13 sacks, then all of a sudden the Buccaneers run away with the division.
Right.
We got 14 the Pittsburgh Steelers. All the same reasons. 15 the Chicago Bears. All the same reasons. We don't know who they are, but they could be great. Even though you win the offseason doesn't really mean you won anything. 16 the Houston Texans for the same reason.
Who's last? Colts or Browns?
Actually, they're neither. So Colts.
Titans.
The 32nd team is the Tennessee Titans.
I was going to say, Titans.
31 is the Giants.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
30, Cleveland Browns. 29, the Saints. Patriots, 28. Jacksonville Jaguars are 27. Colts, 26. Jets, 25. Cowboys, 24. And the Panthers are all the way up to 23. I like that team.
I can agree with it. I feel like they had a really good, decent free agency, and you looked at the strides they made towards the end of last year. They ended up being a team I don't think most people wanted to play against.
If Bryce Young is the real dude, and they have a good rapport, I like that team.
Remember when he got benched, and they were all like, time to trade Bryce Young, and now everyone's like, maybe not so fast.
Isn't it so good if you got him as a throw-in to a draft, to a trade that you got on your dynasty? Just throw in.
Right.
All right.
But then again, you could have had Jane Daniels. So,
Yeah, well, we'll see what I get this year. I couldn't have CJ Stroud and Jane Daniels. And I was like, I'll take Bryce Young. And then I'm holding out for 2026. I want an Arch Manning.
I thought something pretty funny, actually. Someone was going over. It's that one guy that does like all the NFL meme things.
Yeah.
With the white guy with the beard, and he was like being Malik Neighbors as he walks into the QB room, and he's like, "What are we doing?" And they're like, Jameson, Russ are like, "What?" He was like, "I don't understand the direction of this team." And then all of a sudden it showed the GM, and he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I came here to compete, but it looks like you guys are just doing things to where we don't win." And then it goes back to the GM, and he's like,
you know exactly. So yeah, I saw.
He's like, "What? You trying to just get a QB next year?" Manning, full circle.
Exactly.
Trying to get Arch Manning.
That would be so dope. Malik Neighbors like,
"Hey, what? There's a rhyme and reason to what we're doing here. Just hold on, Malik. We got you." And it just shows him going, "Whoa."
It was so funny. It's almost like they saw he saw Jameis Winston. He was like, "Man, that might be too good. We gotta have a backup plan in case Jameis does too well. We could put Russell in, and he'll stick."
Well, it started with because they said Malik Neighbors, and he goes, "Oh, we signed Jameis," and he goes, "Well, at least I know he'll just lob the ball to me."
Yeah, he's like, he's the most lob the ball up to me.
He goes, "At least I know I'll still get targets." And then they were like, "Oh, we're bringing in Russ," and he's like, "What are we doing?" He's like, "What? You don't think Russ can get you the ball?" And he's like, "No, I think Russ can give you the ball too. I just don't understand the direction we're going here. Why are we bringing in all these QBs on 1-year deals?" And they're like,
crazy like a fox.
Right. They're like, "Oh, we're thinking ahead. We're thinking ahead."
I think that's a great idea. It's a great move. I love it. I really do love it. So
I feel like the Colts might be doing that same thing though. So good luck.
The Colts already have a young quarterback. They gotta get rid of him though.
Well, I don't think they're bringing in Daniel Jones to compete with him. I don't know what their expectations are.
Would you be surprised if Daniel Jones wins the starting job that the Pittsburgh Steelers call, and that's for Anthony Richardson?
That'd be interesting. That wouldn't shock me. Well, I saw a funny meme about that too. They're like, "Man, this is the most honest thing I've ever seen. You beat Daniel Jones, you're the starter. If you don't, probably don't belong in the NFL." I can accept this.
Oh man.
NFC East is the first to have all black QBs starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other three are definitely right. You know, they're great.
Don't cut Tommy DeVito short.
I think I got cut him short when he.
They probably would prefer one of those two to start because Tommy DeVito might accidentally win in games.
I think James will keep butts at the stands too.
I think Jameis would.
He's gonna throw 40 touchdowns and throw 40 interceptions. The first 40-40 guy ever.
Know, that's why they got to draft Travis Hunter. He could be a corner on his bad throws and the receiver on his good ones.
It's possible. And I'm honestly, as I'm looking at the breakdowns of all these rookies coming in, Travis Hunter might be. I can see him being a top 3 receiver in this draft. With his speed, his hands, his ability route running, he might be a top 3 receiver in the draft. And he's going in as a corner. Like if he was just going in as a receiver, I could see him being top 3. I think this guy can be really special. And my question is, with Travis Hunter, when you have your rookie dynasty draft, how high do you draft him?
I think he has to go. He's going to go top. Well, see, here's the thing, because I think he goes 3 or 4. Maybe higher. I don't know if you can pass on Genty or Marion.
We've seen Ashton Genty and his workout warrior looks and all that stuff.
Especially if you're that low and you need a running back, you're just not going to pass him.
But there's a lot of running backs.
There are
all start
to get a top tier running back though. Those two are both going to be top tier.
Are you don't think Quinshon Judkins could be a top tier running back?
I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying.
You don't think he'll go to a team and start immediately? What about Henderson?
No, they all could.
Or Mario Hampton?
Those are all. Well, I said Omarion will go in front of him. I said Genty and Omarion will go in front. But then after that, unless you really need a QB that bad, because I'm not impressed with these QBs, I think Travis Hunter could go 3. Maybe 2 if the person in the 2 or 1 spot doesn't need a running back.
I can see that, and I could also see a run on running backs, a huge run on running backs.
Oh, I think there'll be. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're in that 1 or 2 spot, if you don't go running back, there might not be a running back when you come back.
There won't be a running back when you come back.
That's why it's hard to pass up on one of those running backs. But I do see someone possibly throw in the, like I said, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish range of, let's get Travis, Hunter. We can throw him in corner, and he might get me receiver-like stats.
You could do in all type of yards.
Exactly.
He could be returns.
Yeah, he'd be probably doing all that. And you
He's
want
like
to get him early.
He's a home cheat code. Like you want to get him. Like if you had like the 4th and 5th pick and Travis Hunter was on the board, you would probably grab him, right?
And he's not a guy I think that later in life you want to get though, because once he settles into a position, if he becomes dominant at that position, that's what he's going to just suddenly just start. But at least rookie, sophomore,
he'll be
he'll do all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see someone going like, let's just do it. I know me and Martin would be high on him because we like the corners that do all like that one guy for the Patriots for a couple of years there.
I mean, this is a
serious upgrade,
back, right?
Receiver, and then he was returning, and then all of a sudden, because of injuries, he was the starting corner, and he's still doing all that.
Travis Hunter might run routes better than some of the receivers. That's why I'm counting on him. I said Hunter needs to put on some weight. You can't handle playing both in the NFL. Deion Sanders did. Situationally.
At the positions he's playing, he's fine.
Yeah. Situationally, he can handle it. He's going to play defense, and then situationally he'll play offense.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a decoy. And to be a decoy, you're going to have to throw the ball to him a couple times. It's worth it just as that.
Because he's got the breakaway speed, so...
Kadani says, good morning, guys. How y'all doing today? What's up, man? How are you doing? Are you surviving? I know you're San Francisco 49ers, man. We're just going with the power rankings. They're in the 20s on every power ranking.
That's
with the biggest drop.
Well, they were like favorites to win the Super Bowl last year.
It's crazy, man. Can we at least see 5 receivers go in the first round?
I don't see it.
This year?
3?
I'm looking at 3 right now.
I think 3 is a solid bet. 4 would be my max.
That 4.
And that's if you're counting Travis Hunter as a receiver.
I'm going 4.
That's what I said. 4 if you're counting Travis Hunter.
I think McMillan's going to go, right?
McMillan.
Golden's probably going to go.
Golden.
Ibuka. And Burden. Luther Burden.
Yeah.
So that's 4 right there. I think Jaden Higgins doesn't go in the first round because I think there's a gap between them. And the only way you say 5 is if you say Travis Hunter's a receiver, but he's not. He's going as a cornerback. Yeah, so that's what that is.
I could still see. Well, no, I guess with some of the teams down there. Never mind.
I mean, I think there's going to be a run in the second round.
Do the Chiefs go receiver again in the first round?
They go left tackle. Left tackle's going to fall right in their lap. Like, hey, left tackle. This is what I needed.
Bills possibly going receiver.
I can see the Bills possibly, but also you could do it in the second round. So the difference between Jaden Higgins and Trey Harris.
Well, that's why I said I could see, Ibuka or maybe, Burden or Golden possibly falling into the second round. Only because
I don't see Ibuka.
Maybe not Ibuka, but Burden or Golden maybe. just because of how stacked the defensive side is in this draft. And some teams might be like, I like this receiver, but this defender, like, to me on the board is way up here. So I'm gonna have to go with them.
I can hear you. I can see it. I think.
I mean, we had a mock draft where we had Mason Graham falling to you with him. Okay.
Yeah.
In what world is that gonna happen?
It could. That's the weird thing is it could because of the stupid people that like all these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
If Jackson Dart goes in the first round.
Always. See, that always, like, I get it. Quarterback is a need, but I'm like, you're this bad. Drafting one of these QBs that high isn't going to improve you. It really isn't.
But you know what? You say that, but
Why
Bo
not?
Nix last year. Bo Nix was not thought of as a first rounder or any of the first rounder, maybe second rounder.
Yeah,
And
but
he could have been the rookie of the year.
More than I probably like any of these guys.
100%. 1,000%. Bo Nix is coming out this year. He's the first quarterback off the board.
And I completely understood where the Broncos were coming from. They didn't have a second round pick. They couldn't chance him falling that far. So they had to draft him where he did. I completely get it.
But he was still rated as a second round quarterback, you know.
No, and I understand that, but that's why I said they didn't have a second round pick, so they couldn't take the chance of him not being there. So I get why they did what they did. But that should tell you what I think of these quarterbacks. If I think a second round quarterback is better than both of these quarterbacks.
I think the fifth, what's his name for the Falcons would have been drafted number 1 over these guys.
Oh, Penix, yeah.
Penix, yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. Like, I don't have any doubts that either one of these guys could be good. I don't know. There's just, like, the fact that, Abdul Carter might not go before one of these guys is just completely insane to me.
It's just because he's hurt. There's no way because
I understand that, but yeah. I'm just saying.
Someone else would trade up to get Abdul Carter because he's a monster.
He's
a cheap monster for 4 years.
What is he? The best rated edge rusher to come out since Myles Garrett, probably.
I don't know.
Who else has really come out since? I mean, granted, T.J. Watt was in that same, but he wasn't as highly touted coming out.
T.J. Watt, I thought was before Myles Garrett.
No, he was in the same draft.
Oh,
he was drafted at the end of the first round. The Steelers traded back up to get him. But Myles Garrett went 2 overall.
There's probably the two in the Texas, right? Two, edge rushers,
Well, I mean, I guess Aiden Hutchinson was pretty.
Exactly. He was in Trayvon Walker or whatever because he was 3, whatever.
So I guess Aiden Hutchinson, he should have been number 1 in the draft. I feel bad. I mean, I'm sure Detroit's like, we're okay with this. All right, I forgot about Aiden Hutchinson. So he's probably the best guy since Aiden Hutchinson.
Well, Aiden Hutchinson's huge, but yeah. What about Micah Parsons?
Yeah. Is it the same draft as Aiden Hutchinson, or is that different?
I think Micah was 3 years ago.
But I'm just saying, if he's being held in the same breath as Garrett, Hutchinson, Parsons.
Hutchinson is the Thibodeau draft, right?
So I'm just saying, if he's being held in this kind of, group, like, why would you ever want to pass him?
I get you. Kadani says to me, man, I can understand the drop, but at the same time, I don't think our ranking.
Even if he is hurt a little bit, let him rest. And then he'll put him back next year when Arch Manning and some other better quarterbacks are back.
I don't think our rankings reflects our talent. Our offense is not the worst, but our defense is going to take a dip depending on Saylor's coaching. So I want to see what they do in the draft, especially at the first 3 picks we have. Then who do we bring in for free agents? Who can we provide veteran leadership? Both defensive tackle and linebackers are to me our priority. You don't have any money. Can we find another steal in the draft the same way we did with Fred Warner?
How do you have Fred Warner and then still need
defensive help because you have no other problem?
How do you still need linebacker help if you have Fred Warner? He's like the best linebacker.
Yeah, but you lost Greenlaw. So he was a 3rd round pick. Greenlaw was a 5th rounder. We've been good as a late rounders with Hufanga and Kittle. Plus, look at our schedule. Like to me, I would call successful season if we can number one, stay healthy, and we could get a wild card spot in the wild card playoffs, I would say that would be a good year. I don't think you're even close to that. And then rebuild, make a big splash trade of free agency next year, and then we'll try to go for a championship. You're not going to have the money.
Yeah, the whole reason you got rid of all these players is because you're trying to pay Purdy.
So if you pay Purdy, and then you already have the Bosa, the bad Nick Bosa, that's who's making $35 million. You don't have the money. You have CMC still. So I don't know. I like your thought process. I think it makes sense. I just don't think you're going to have the money to do it. You just paid Trent Williams. Trent Williams is not going to leave. He's going to die on your roster. That's literally like you pay me how much as left tackle? You pay me how much?
He tried to do that and he got mad. We wanted out. Okay.
Yeah, but you didn't want to pay him at all.
No, we tried to let him die on our roster.
Literally. That's
he didn't like it. He said, "I want out."
So, not for you guys, not for this amount of money. Oh man. Yeah, no, I think that San Francisco is going to have it's a 2-year problem. You're trying to bridge the gap, basically. So it's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah. But at this point, I feel like John Lynch has a plan, so I trust him.
I think it's a 2-year plan.
I think he knows what he's doing. I feel like this is what? How many times has he recycled now?
Yeah, but I think you guys are wrong about Purdy. I don't think Purdy's the dude. I think he was good at being a point guard. I'm not paying
according to their cycle, it's going to be Mac Jones here.
So. That is right.
That is true. Their cycle dates back to Steve Young and Jeff Garcia. Pay Steve Young all that money. Bring in Jeff Garcia as the backup. Steve Young gets hurt. Jeff Garcia replaces him. Jeff Garcia gets a crap ton of money, gets hurt, bringing Alex Smith. He gets all the money, gets hurt, bringing Colin Kaepernick. He gets hurt after trying to get all the money, and then they brought in, was it Jimmy G? Jimmy G gets the money, he gets hurt. Bring in Brock Purdy. It's the QB cycle in San Francisco.
That's not me saying that. That's all Mark. I'm okay with my San Francisco brethren.
So unless Purdy breaks the curse, could be looking at Mac Jones.
No, but $50 million. Oh, man. Or you draft someone in the 5th round or something like that, and then all of a sudden becomes the best quarterback in the world. Who knew?
Right.
Who knew?
Hey, I'm not saying that's not a lot of money, but like, you look at what Purdy's done compared to some of these other quarterbacks that are making $50 million.
You say that.
Brock Purdy.
I don't think so, because I don't think he's the reason why they did it. I think Purdy was just getting the ball out of his hand, and he had a lot of talent around him.
Well, I really think San Francisco wishes he had one more year on his contract so they could see how he could do this year. Without
the talent. So why would you pay him?
Unfortunately, they don't have that luxury. So they've got to decide now. I mean, what? Is Trevor Lawrence making $50+ million a year just because he was the number 1 overall pick?
Yeah, exactly. Because he was the best. He was also the best prospect coming out of college ever.
I understand that, but that doesn't. I don't feel like those accolades should grade you $50 million a season.
And you are a team that does not want to start over. That's what it is. But at least he's done it with no talent. So like we already know, okay, he could be that guy. I'm not sure that the Purdy's really better than Case Keenum. I don't know if he's better than these regular guys.
He's already made it further in the playoffs like 3 times than the Cowboys have in the last 35 years.
But it's because the team around him. He literally had the best left tackle in the world. He literally has CMC. He's old now. He has CMC, who has one leg. He has now.
He doesn't have any legs. He has it in both his kids. He's kind of.
He no longer has. He still has George Kittle for probably 2 or 3 more years. I think
brought Juice back.
Thank God. Thank God they brought Juice back.
Get someone to block for.
You got one receiver. You know, you got rid of Debo. What's your Swiss Army knife?
Almost two receivers.
We don't know what Juwan Jennings is. We'll see.
No, I'm talking about the kid that they drafted in the first round.
Oh, okay.
He looked pretty good towards the end. The one got shot.
Yeah, the one you can put. If you piece them all together, I guess they'll end up being good because one has a bad knee, the other one has bad ankles. If you put them all together, they have it. I don't see it. I see the 49ers missing the playoffs. I see the Rams being better in the division, and the 49ers probably being second.
I think depending on the draft, I think offensively they could still be decent. I just don't know what they're going to be defense. I mean, I know they still got Bosa. They still got Fred Warner.
That's a good start.
They lost Ward, their best corner, gone.
Yeah, that hurts.
Hufanga gone. But their secondary, I feel like it's going to be hurt.
Yeah, they probably need another edge rusher and two corners. And if they do that, you never know. Keeping Fred Warner is good.
Fred Warner gets hurt, they're really in trouble.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think the building blocks are there. If they can knock out the two drafts, they could be possibly a contender in 2 years. But
it depends if Purdy's that guy. We'll find out. Yes.
Let's hope he is, because I haven't been fantasy. So.
That's the only reason I know. You want him to be there.
It only cost me a third-round pick. Not the worst. Or third and a fourth.
You have Jared Goff. I'm not worried about you.
I got Jay Daniels.
Exactly. There's no reason. I have no.
I was talking about resell. I was hoping to third and a fourth, maybe get a second and a third.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't know what are you worried about?
Oh, I'm not worried.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Jared Goff. I got Jay Daniels. I know I'm good at QB.
No matter what's going to happen, you're going to put up numbers.
Well, my luck, they're all going to have the same buys. So.
You have to figure out 1 week. It'll be all right. All right. With that being said, guys, we almost hit that hour mark. We had to get out of here. Thank everyone for jumping in. Kadani for being here. Anthony for saying all the things you guys said. Our outlook is going to be interesting. We're going to start breaking down these position groups on Wednesday. I think we talked about doing defensive tackle. We will have some video. We'll actually look through all the best defensive tackle rookies and then kind of go from there and see what we can find.
You're going to be here Wednesday?
Oh, crap. I'm not going to be here because of that. Well, I'll make the room and I'll give you all the videos. Let you go from there. But with that being said, guys, thank you for being here. I'm Brian Grizzly with Mark. We'll see you guys sometime.
Appreciate you being here.
We'll see you later. So later.